I'm David Hutchens, and today we are exploring the topic of storytelling as a leadership capability. And storytelling connects to so much of your work as a leader, everything from branding to engagement to change management to knowledge work to culture work. And today we're going to look at the connection between storytelling and strategy. Now, think about how much of your work as a leader is saying to people every day in ways significant and then even small ways all throughout the day, here's where we're going. Here's how we're going to get there. I mean, that's the heart of leadership communication, is bringing people together. And I've spent a lot of my career in organizational communications, and I've seen a lot of strategy communications communicated that begin and end with the goal. You know, the number. Hey, everyone, we need to cut costs by X percent. We need to increase sales by Y percent. What if you articulated that message as a story? Today, I'm going to share with you one of my secret recipes that I use all the time in my work in strategy communications with companies all around the world. And it draws from a very famous story construct called the hero's journey. The hero's journey was developed by an archaeologist named Joseph Campbell, who studied the stories and religions and mythologies of cultures and societies all across the world and all across the ages. And he says that there's a story that humanity wants to keep telling. It's this same story archetype, this pattern that keeps coming up over and over again. And the hero's journey gained a lot of attention in the 1970s when there was a filmmaker named George Lucas who made a movie called Star Wars. And George Lucas says that to create Star Wars, he pulled directly from Campbell's hero's journey. And it's a powerful story that connects with people at a very deep level. Again, this is the story that humanity wants to keep telling over and over again. It's the story of us as we move through this world and as we change and as we learn and as we try difficult things and fail and succeed, and that path to actualizing ourselves. It's the hero's journey. And so when we connect this story to our strategies, it connects with people's deepest hopes and their deepest aspirations. And it's a lot better than saying you'd better cut costs or else. So first, let me explain the hero's journey to you, and then we'll look at how to connect it to your strategy communications. Let's look at this timeless story that is known as the hero's journey. And today I'm going to show you a much simplified version of Campbell's construct so that we can connect it to our strategy work. And as I talk you through these steps, you're going to see how it links to the great stories that you know very well, including Star Wars and Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. And importantly, I think you'll start sensing how this is your story and your team's and organization's story of leadership and learning and change as well. And that's important. So think about that as I walk you through these steps, and then we're going to come back to that. And so the hero's journey begins with the call to adventure. You know, there's a message that comes from another world, and it disrupts our reality. And the message says, it's time to move. You can't stay. And in Star Wars, the plot was set into motion early on with that recorded message from Princess Leia. You know, help me, Obi-Wan. You're my only hope. So in your strategy communications, don't bury it. Begin with the call, with the message. Let your people know that you're calling them to join a journey. Tell them where you're going, the goal, right up front, and make it clear what you're asking for. The next part of the journey is the context. The call doesn't exist in a vacuum. You're asking people to step away from the comfort of the hobbit hole in Bag End. And there are realities in your marketplace that people need to understand. So lay it all out. Let them know that there are dark forces rumbling just beneath the surface of our daily reality. The hero. You've presented a big goal in a tough world. So who is going to save us in this dire circumstance? The answer is us. We are the hero we've been waiting for. This is our story. This is our journey. And when you cast your people as the protagonist, as the hero of their own story, it's incredibly engaging. The dragon. There are dragons, or Lord Voldemorts, or Darth Vaders that are standing between us and our goal. And most often, these antagonists are our own beliefs and our own mental models and our own ways of thinking, which we must confront and change and update so that we can move forward. The journey. Like Frodo Baggins on the path to Mordor, you should expect many challenges along the way. And there may be times when the journey becomes so difficult, you will feel like giving up hope. And that's natural. That's part of the adventure, part of the journey that we're going on together. We're going to ask you to do difficult things. But we've been to the mountaintop. We've seen a glimpse of how good things can be. And when we accomplish our mission, good things are going to happen. Our world is going to be better. There's rewards at the end of this journey. So, just briefly, that is just the sketchiest version possible of Campbell's really rich, robust construct called The Hero's Journey. And it's a story that we've all seen over and over again. I mean, it pulls us in every time. And it's effective when we connect it to our strategy communications as well. So how do we do that? Let's take a look. So think of this simplified version of the hero's journey as an outline for your strategy message. And we can sketch it out in a format called a message house with 6 blocks of messages that correspond to the hero's journey. And so let's give ours a name for the sake of example. I'm going to call it something awful like Synergy 3000. Although maybe I shouldn't say it's awful because I have partners that use that kind of terminology, but this is for example. So you'll use this as an outline to begin crafting your message. And I'm going to populate this message house with some examples and some language that's going to be kind of generic and kind of bland, but just to give you an idea of how this works. And you'll get the idea as we go. So start with the call. And this might be the easiest part for you because leaders tend to start here, and it should be top of mind. So we have a big goal to achieve. We want to be recognized as a leader in a certain area according to some certain measure. So lay that out in details. The context. So this is what's happening in our world that's causing the disruption. We've been successful in the past, but we can't count on that in the future. Today our world is what? More complex. Maybe it's more regulated than it ever has been before. Maybe there's more competition than ever before. So whatever is true about our world today, articulate that as part of the message. The hero. But we are the marketing team. We are the Acme organization. Our legacy of resilience or innovation or whatever is alive today and part of our work. The amazing capabilities that you have demonstrated in the past, we're asking you to call upon those capabilities and exercise them again because you are the hero of this story. You're going to make this happen. The dragon. There are challenges. Some of them are external. Maybe it's more competition. Often it's internal. We are often the victims of our own ways of thinking. And in order to move forward, the ways we think, our mental models have to change, and we have to update those mental models. The journey. We're asking you to do some things different. And this is the part where you can expect the people of the organization really lean forward and listen closely because they're sensitive to this part. All right, some things are changing. Lay it on me. What are you asking me to do? Today we have to adopt new mental models about our work. We're asking you to use new tools. There'll be some new ways of working together. And you can do some truth-telling here. Say to your team, you're not going to like this. Nobody likes to change. Nobody likes to do anything different. And we're asking you to abandon some things that are comfortable to do some things that are risky, that you're not going to like. But when we do, the result will be a better world. new markets, new opportunities, a better place to work. So what do we do with this? You have a lot of options. One, obviously, is simply to present this verbally. After you articulate this series of messages, next time you're before your team, just share these messages with them. Say, things are about to change around here. Let me tell you this story of where we're going together. Another possibility is this is the beginning of a message strategy. Obviously, there's a lot more that you want to say about your strategy. And so in each of these chapters of the Message House, you can become much more specific. And this can be a way of bringing the executive team together so that you're all thinking the same way and articulating the message across the organization with consistency. Under the context. Say more about that. What else is happening in our world? Customers have more choices than ever before. There's more regulation. We're losing our patent. So you can become very prescriptive and specific about the messages that you're sharing here. Under the hero, list the qualities that you're asking for from the team. Talk about what learning is going to look like together. Under the dragon, again, the opportunity is to become very specific here. What are the mental models? What are the challenges, internal or external, that are slowing us down? It might be our siloed culture. It might be that we have too many outdated systems. Maybe we've been slow to respond. Whatever those things are, again, this is an opportunity to do some truth-telling. The journey, again, get very specific. Are there tools? Are there processes? Are there things that you're asking people to do? People are going to have a lot of questions about this part, so be prepared to talk more specifically about this. And then say more about the outcome, especially, how are we going to measure this? How are we going to know if we've achieved the journey? So again, this message house, this message strategy story can become the beginning of a more integrated communication strategy. Another thing we can do, and this is one of my favorite applications, is to visualize this. This can become the beginning of an infographic, and I do this a lot for the groups that I work with. I simply sometimes just sketch it out by hand. And even a rough sketch, when presented, can be a wonderful way to draw people into the conversation. Or it may make sense to have a professional artist render it as an infographic. And again, I've had organizations distribute these to all of the people in the organization as a way of very quickly getting an overview of the message strategy in a way that they can embrace, because it's visual and metaphorical and narrative, and it becomes the beginning of a conversation. All right, things are changing around here. Now you've got the big picture. Let's come together and explore what this looks like together. So those are just a few ideas for communicating message as a story. I hope you'll come back and visit us again. There will be additional videos on ways of bringing storytelling and the power of narrative to all of the most critical work of your team and your leadership and your organization. Again, this is David Hutchens. Thank you for joining me. You can learn more about these ideas and much, much more from my new book, Circle of the Nine Muses, available now from Wiley & Sons.